This is Akashvani Chennai. In our weekly program in English, you shall hear a literary talk on Andrew Marvell, the poet who stopped time. The talk is delivered by Miss THAMEEM NISHA, Assistant Professor, Department of English, Alpha Arts and Science College, Chennai.
Ladies and gentlemen, today I invite you to step into the world of one of the most brilliant and versatile poets of the 17th century, Andrew Marvell, a poet of passion, intelligence, playfulness, and deep reflection. Marvell stands at a unique crossroad where love meets philosophy, where nature meets spirituality, and where politics meets poetry. Andrew Marvell was born in 1621 in Yorkshire, England, into a cultured and religious family. By the age of 12, he entered Trinity College, Cambridge. Already showing a sharp, quick mind, his life was shaped by dramatic political changes. The English Civil War, Oliver Cromwell's rules, and the Restoration. Marvell lived through all of it, not as a silent observer, but as an active political figure and member of parliament. He traveled across Europe, mastered languages, and returned to England as a tutor, a diplomat, and then a courageous parliamentarian. Marvell even defended John Milton during a dangerous political moment, saying, "The great poet's life." In every role, Marvell stood for intelligence, fairness, and moral courage. Marvell's poetry shines through several powerful themes. A shortness of life. Marvell invites us to realize that time is fleeting and life must be lived boldly. The urgency and beauty of love. He writes with wit, passion, and philosophical depth rarely seen in love poetry. And the next thing is nature as a spiritual refuge. His poems often show nature as a healing space for the soul. Emotional honesty. Even his tears become symbols of spiritual cleansing. Moral and political vision. His political poems show a thoughtful, balanced view of justice and leadership. Marvell belongs to the metaphysical poets, and his style is recognized by clever reasoning, brilliant metaphors, emotional depth, musical rhythms, a perfect blend of mind and heart. His poems persuade, question, laugh, and love all at the same time. Now let me take you through his finest work with the poem included and explained right within the flow of speech. We begin with Marvell's greatest masterpiece, To His Coy Mistress, a poem where passion meets philosophy. Marvell writes, "Had we but world enough and time, this coyness, lady, were no crime. We would sit down and think which way to talk and pass our long love's day." Here Marvell tells his beloved, "If time were endless, I would wait forever. No rush, no fear, just pure devotion." He continues with humorous exaggeration. "I would love you 10 years before the flood, and you should, if you please, refuse till the conversion of the Jews." The poet says, "I would admire you for thousands of years." This is both playful and poetic. Then he gives one of the most beautiful metaphors in English literature. "My vegetable love should grow vaster than empires and more slow." His love would grow naturally, slowly, deeply, like a flourishing plant. But suddenly the mood shifts. "But at my back I always hear time's winged chariot hurrying near." This is the sound of mortality, the reminder that life is short, youth is passing, and time waits for no one. He paints a powerful, honest image of life's brevity, the grave's fine and private place. But none, I think, do there embrace a place of silence, not of love, Then comes the bold, passionate conclusion. Now, therefore, while the youthful hue sits on thy skin like morning dew, let us roll all our strength and all our sweetness up into one ball. Marvell urges, let us seize the moment, let us live fully, let us love fiercely, before time takes the chance away. He ends with unforgettable confidence. Thus, though we cannot make our sun stand still, yet we will make him run. We cannot stop time, but we can make life rich enough that time seems to chase us. This poem is not merely a love request, it is a philosophy for loving, a call to embrace life with courage and joy. And the second important work of Marvell is Young Love. And this is a poem celebrating the tender innocence and the thrill of early affection. The poem goes like this. Come, little infant, love me now, while thine unsuspected ears clear thine aged father's brow from cold jealousy and fears. Here, Marvell addresses young love with sweetness and simplicity. He says, love me now in this innocent age before complexity enters life. He was longing for the love. He continues, pretty surely it were to see by young love all the time beguiled, while our sporting are as free as the nurse with the child. Youthful love has a magic. It even deceives time itself. It moves freely, playfully, without fear. He admires the freshness of young affection. Common beauties stay 15, such as yours should swifter move. Here, the poet means your beauty is so fresh, so pure, that is must be cherished yearly. The poem ends gently and thoughtfully like this. We will not fear the bugbear time, though night comes ere we climb. So he says, if you stay faithful, we need not fear aging or time. Love, when sincere, it defeats fear. This poem shows Marvell's gift for capturing delicate emotions, the sweetness, the vulnerability, the innocence of first love. And the third one is Eyes and Tears. It is a beautiful poem that reflects on the strange and profound power of human tears. The poet begins by admiring how wisely nature has designed us. As he says, how wisely nature did decree, with the same eyes to weep and see. In other words, the same eyes that let us look at the world also allow us to cry over it. We look, we judge, we react, and when reality disappoints, tears are already prepared to fall. He goes on to say that our vision often deceives us. The self-deluding sight in a false angle takes each light. We often misjudge what we see. Our eyes trick us, but tears tell the truth. That is why he says, these tears fall like watery lines and plummets, like tools that measure reality more accurately than our eyesight does. The poet then speaks of two tears weighted carefully in each eye, two tears which sorrow long did weigh, or the true price of all my joys. Here, he suggests that sorrow balances out our happiness almost as if every joy we have eventually cost as a tear. He continues by reflecting on how everything beautiful in the world eventually leads to sadness. What in the world most fair appears turns to tears. Even the treasures we love, all the jewels which we prize, eventually melt away into the pendant, the droplets of our eyes. What a beautiful words. All the jewels which we prize eventually melt away into the pendant, the droplets of our eyes. Here he is comparing the tears with the pendant. The poet then describes searching everywhere for sweetness. I have through every garden been, amongst the red, the white, the green, but finding no honey except in his own tears. It's a way of saying that sorrow has become the deepest source of meaning for him. He then compares human tears to nature itself. The sun, he says, distills the world each day with a chymic ray. Yet, what it truly finds is only moisture, only rain, and so it pours those tears back onto the earth. Next, he makes an interesting claim that those who grieve are actually blessed, yet happy they whom grief doth bless, that weep the more and see the less. When we cry, our vision blurs, but perhaps our outstanding becomes clearer. Tears wash the eyes, keeping sight honest, but still there, eyes in their own dew. But still their eyes in their own dew. The poem then brings in a religious reference. Speaking of Mary Magdalene, so Magdalene in tears more wise dissolved those captivating eyes. Her tears were wiser than her gaze. They helped her let go of earthly temptations and brought her closer to spiritual truth. The poet even argues that nothing in nature, not full sails, nor the chaste lady's pregnant womb, nor Cynthia teeming, is as beautiful as eyes swollen with weeping. Tears transform the eyes into the something noble and pure. He continues by saying that the fiery glance of desire, the sparkling glance that shoots desire, loses its power when drenched in tears. Even lightning, he says, feel pity and is extinguished in them. And to the heavens, what matters most is not perfume but tears. The incense was to heaven dear, not as a perfume but a tear. Finally, he calls upon his own eyes. Open the mine eyes, your double sluice. Let them open their gates and fulfill their greatest purpose, not just to see, but to weep. For others too can see or sleep, but only human eyes can weep. This, to him, is what makes us human. The poem ends with the powerful image of eyes and tears becoming one, till eyes and tears be the same things, and each the other's difference bears. These weeping eyes, those seeing tears, the boundary between seeing and feeling dissolves, just as tears dissolve the barrier between the outer world and the inner one. So overall, this poem reminds us that the tears are not a weakness. They are a form of truth, of beauty, of healing. They measure what our eyes alone cannot. They wash, they reveal, they connect us to what is deepest in ourselves. The next one is Andrew Marvell's poem, The Garden. This poem celebrates the quiet beauty of nature. Marvell suggests that true peace lies not in crowds or ambition, but in a garden stillness. He discovers that the soul grows, heals, and deepens when surrounded by nature. It is his most meditative and serene work. So, ladies and gentlemen, Andrew Marvell remains a rare poet, one who speaks to the mind with wit and to the heart with emotion. So, through the poems, like to his coy mistress, he teaches us to live boldly. Through the poem, like young love, he celebrates the tenderness. Through the works like Eyes and Tears and The Garden, he reveals the soul's quiet truths. Marvell's poetry still breathes with the life, passion, and wisdom. Thank you for lending me your time, your presence, and your hearts. My deepest gratitude.
You just heard to a literary talk presented by Miss Yes THAMEEM NISHA, Assistant Professor, Department of English, Alpha Arts and Science College, Chennai, presenting a literary talk on Andrew Marvell, the poet who stopped time. This program came to you from the studios of Akashvani, Chennai.